All right, what's up, guys? We are back in New York after a little bit more than 2 months of travel. Again, we began in Dubai, ended up in Serbia, and then made our way north all the way to Germany for the High Rocks. So, as everything came to an end, we are now back in New York, scaling, and we're off again to either Spain or Mexico in July. So we're home for a bit, but let's get to it. So we're going to be covering 7 different things that you have to do on the kickoff call in order to make it as seamless and efficient and as good as possible, not just for you, but for your client as well, because it's also extremely important before the ads go up, the last impression before the ads go up. And you have to set those expectations. You have to do so many different things that I'm going to be talking about here. And this isn't just, again, like I was telling you guys about media buying. It's not the Bible, right? You don't have to follow everything word by word, but this is just hopefully some value to give to you guys in case you guys are missing anything or you want to add anything to your kickoff call if you're doing it already and you seem to have some sort of structure. But let's get into it. One, outline the call. Always outline the call. Outline the sales call. Outline when you're hiring setters. Outline the kickoff call. Outline everything. Everything has to be simple because our brains are not meant to handle complex things, and the more complex it is, the less likely it is that people are actually interested and are focused on what you're doing, right? Like when you're in class and you're learning about biology or physics, whatever the hell you have it, sometimes you just get distracted, right? If you're not good at school and whatever it is, you just get distracted. You don't care. Simple. You have to keep things extremely simple, and that is done by just outlining the structure of the call. So outline the structure of the call. Tell me you're going to be going over a couple different things here, and then whatever else moving forward. Now, always have a structure for the call. You're a professional. Act it right. Even if you don't think that you're a professional, be that way. And these people are investing into us and vice versa, right? We are managing their money. And this is extremely important. And I tell you guys all the time, treat your clients in the highest regard as possible because the easiest customers that you could have are just the ones that you already have when you're upselling or downselling. And once you have a customer, it's so much easier to make more money by retaining them and then upselling or downselling them on whatever else it is that you're doing, as opposed to getting a new client, right? So treat them like a god, or yeah, if you're a god, or however you want to talk about it. But so CEOs of Fortune 500 companies have an extremely structured lifestyle and no time to waste. If your goal is to hit 100K months, then you have to become that person now. And it starts with small things like this: structuring the calls. Don't overlook things. Just like on the sales calls, on the tips that I gave you guys, and as minuscule and tiny as it might seem, small things pay off exponential results long term. And again, if something seems small or minuscule or not as important, don't overlook it. Maybe that's your ego getting in the way, but don't overlook those things. Always incorporate them because the small things make a difference long term, right? When you're at a restaurant, the hospitality, small things like putting your fork and knife in the right place. From if you're the server or whoever it is, small things like that do make a difference long term, and you'll be surprised that one thing you could have said got you the sale, made the kickoff call go extremely well, or one thing you said could have lost you the sale or could have screwed up the kickoff call, right? So you have to be extremely, extremely careful with the small things and incorporate them. But don't waste words, don't waste time. Just straight to the point, as simple as possible. Structure the call. Point two: go over the ads. Now you're a professional at what you're doing, and I'm going to kind of morph point two and three right here. But when going over the ads, ask for their opinion, see what they think of it. Maybe they've seen them before online. If you're doing original ads, that's amazing. Keep testing new things, right? Like I talk about all the time. Now, you're a professional, and what this means you shouldn't be micromanaged. You shouldn't have them tell you what to do, what ads to run, what videos to run, what photos to run. This is what you do for a living. Act that way, and be as professional and courteous as possible. Don't be a dick. Don't be mean. Don't be rude to these people, to your clients. I had a client of mine tell me what to run, and multiple clients telling me what to run and videos to run, and it just wouldn't perform well. At least that's what I think, right? Like, I've been doing this for some time now. That's just what I think. You have to kind of combat that in a nice and genuine way. Be like, yeah, listen, if I do what you're saying right now, I can't guarantee any results, right? Like the guarantee and the offer that I do have in place is in place for a specific reason, and that's because I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm a professional at what I'm doing. I have done this for a while. You build roofs for a living. I do marketing for a living. I don't know how to build a roof. I'd assume, you want to know how to market, right? I mean, that's just pure logic, right? At that point, so don't be micromanaged. Don't let them kind of boss you around, because you set that expectation if you do let them talk over you right from the beginning, and they're going to kind of carry that long term. It's kind of like the saying, when you give someone an inch, they're going to take a yard. Exact same thing here. Cut it off right from the head, right from the get go, and this is easier said than done too. A lot of times, when you're learning about how to do a sales call better or make a sale, it's easier said than done. But actual implementation of the idea and the value and the scale, it's harder. But that's going to come with time and consistency and effort. And you might not get this on the first kickoff call, setting the expectations right from the start, because you may have been a little bit more agreeable than you'd like to, but that's fine. So long you're actually conscious and aware of it. Some people just go through life not really aware of what they're agreeing to and what they're disagreeing to, and those people tend to be taken advantage by people who know what they're doing. And that's just the nature of the beast. Now, so go over the ads, see what their thoughts are on it. If they want something that you possibly could run, just take a look at it. Right, like I said, don't be mean, don't be rude. Take a look at everything. See if it's something you could work with, and if it is, maybe see what you can do. Right, but also have the contract too, that once their ideas come into play, the guarantee is off the table. It helps you long term, and it kind of protects you from if the guarantee isn't met. Right, because these people, I'm assuming, don't know how to market. We don't know how to build roofs, and have that in the contract that if their ideas come into play, and if we're running their ad copy, their video, their images, guarantees off the table. Put that in your contract. Absolute golden nugget right there. So 2 and 3, go over the ads, set the expectations. They're hiring you for a reason, right? Number 4, discuss communication. This is extremely important. First 3 days of the ads going up, always, always, always be in contact. Talk about the positives, because this is extremely important, and this may be a make or break. Honestly, their money is starting to be spent, and they may not be getting results. And so, if they're not getting results, manage those emotions. Talk about the positive things. Talk about how thousands of people in their service area are still seeing their ads, their faces, their voices, or whatever it might be, if you're doing AI voiceovers or not. But, and also kind of, guys, use analogies too, to kind of center them back to a stable emotional state. Meaning, Coca-Cola, you can be like Coca-Cola, for example, markets on highways, not because people are going to be buying immediately, Coke as they're driving, but it's about the repetition and the long-term repetition that it comes to mind once once they're thirsty, right? It's the exact same thing here. If they're not getting results, kind of use some analogies, keep positive momentum forward about what's going to happen. Everything looks good on my end. The KPIs are looking good. So just keep everything positive. Kind of like what I spoke about last time. When someone's, is kind of being negative, don't double down on the negativity, because it's so easy to be negative in this world. It's so easy to blame others for your problems, to not really have a positive mind and light. And for whatever reasons, that's just the nature of the beast, and we overvalue our losses and we undervalue our wins, and that's just kind of part of the human nature itself. So don't double down on being negative. Don't be negative back. Don't be mean back. Just keep everything pretty firm and definitive and forward thinking, positive thinking, because we want to have that future outcome always in mind, and the ideal of a positive future, leads coming in. So just keep everything positive. Talk about the KPIs, like I said, people still seeing their ads, and use some analogies to kind of bring them back to ground zero. So do some of those things. Now, meetings. First 3 ads, also be in touch. Right? First 3 days of ads, be in touch. Just a couple sentences here and there the morning of, hey, everything's going pretty well, KPIs are looking good. Now, the meetings. Meetings will be held bi-weekly via Zoom, Google Meet, whatever it is that you use. You guys can have this four times a month, whatever works for you guys. Honestly, it just depends. Now, 2 solid touch points a month has been pretty rock solid, and you might not need more than that. Honestly, you might not need more than that, so long you're fulfilling on your service, which is getting them leads. If everything is going to plan, they should be happy, and you should be content with what you're doing as well. And what's also really cool too is that once you get happy clients, happy customers, and they're getting work and they're getting an ROI on investment, that's when you start to ask about upsells, downsells, referrals, and just ask. Just ask. When it comes to referrals, especially, and this is just another golden nugget, when things are going really well, guys, strike when the iron is hot. Strike when the iron is hot. Ask for that testimonial video. Get on the call with them as soon as they close the job, because emotions are inflated and it's full of positivity, and you just got to keep that going. Just keep it going, and just ask for referrals, because nothing good is going to come from shutting up and just not asking, right? You have to get out there. And if you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you are in the marketing agency space or in the agency space, and you're pretty ambitious, you're self-determined, and you need really anyone to kind of tell you what to do. You're pretty autonomous in that way. So you know this, we all know this, just ask. There are different ways of asking to make sure that you have the highest probability of success. Going for life, you want to optimize and have your chances of success to be as high as possible, right? So position yourself in the right environment and position your wording for when asking for referrals. And you might not want to make it so direct to be like, hey, you might have you do you know of anyone else who might kind of be helped by this service that we're doing? If they say yeah, ask them to connect you guys, and then kind of go from there. Again, different ways, but that's so discuss this. Communication, guys, you don't want a headache. Streamline communication immediately. Once you're starting to get a bunch of clients, it's going to be a headache, especially if you're still doing everything yourself and you don't have a CSM. So streamline communication. You could do WhatsApp, you could do email, you could do different softwares, Basecamp, you could do whatever CRM they're using. It really just depends, guys. It really just depends on what you want to do. Me, I'm personally doing WhatsApp. Now, I think there's going to be a point where I'm going to switch to a different software and streamline it that way, because I've yet to hire a CSM, because I enjoy doing the front end of the company. Honestly, I'm not at the point yet where it's like a headache and it's too much. I'm pretty fine with where I'm at. So it's WhatsApp. Everything's on the front end is through WhatsApp. So that's that. And let's see. Now, discuss the features of the system. Right now, of course, when you're selling, you want to do all the benefits, sell the dreams, sell the future, sell what people have been doing with your service and what people are currently doing with your service. Now, feature of the system, depending on really what you're using. Most people, I'd assume, in this space are using high level. Now, discuss the automations in place, guys. Discuss the warm campaigns, the warm and drip campaigns, the reminders via SMS and email that the prospect gets once filling out the ad. If you don't have a high level subscription, it's not the end of the world, guys. You can still make money without any of this stuff, right? If there's a way, there's a will, right? And you can still make money without using any of these fancy softwares. Now, if you're doing lead forms and whatnot, just kind of frame it in the best way as possible. Discuss the features of that, discuss some of the benefits, how they're going to get notified, when to reach out to the clients almost immediately, right? Because the sooner we get to the prospects, if you don't have a call agency yourself and the clients want to do the calling themselves, also having the contracts do that, they need to get to the leads within 15 to 20 minutes max, like 70-80% of the time for all ML leads. Also have that in the contract, because the longer you put something off, the less likely it is that the actual potential lead actually calls or answers the call. So, point 7, remind them how ad spend works, build daily for the beginning, right? So remind them, because the money is going to start to be spent and they might get a little emotional in the beginning if results aren't coming in, but just remind them about how ad spend works, how it's a daily thing, and that's eventually it's going to be less often as Meta sees you as a repeat and legitimate customer. I really hope the volume is fine right now with these people getting their lawn cut. But that's pretty much it, guys. Just those 7 things that have to be kind of accounted for. Now, if there's anything else you guys discuss during your video, drop it down in the comment. If I'm not perfect, I might have missed something. But this is, for the most part, what I do with all of my clients on the kickoff call. And everything forward, just the ads are going to start to run, and then we'll be in client communication. Now, also, always end your calls too with a forward direction that there's a clear plan, right? Steve Jobs said simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Simple things, our brains just want to handle simple tasks, and they just want simple knowledge. That's it. So I really hope this was of value to you guys, and yeah, let me know if there's anything else that you guys are doing in the comments below. If there's anything I'm missing or anything you're doing on your ends that would be really interesting to everyone else. So that's pretty much that, guys, and that's a wrap. All right, see you guys in the next. Peace.